The increasingly anxious and out of sorts Mildred drank too much wine at dinner and eventually lost her composure. Lost it because she wanted to lose it and needed the wine to push her over the edge. And the surprising thing about her outburst was that she didn't lash out at Sidney, but at her nephew, as if he were the cause of her troubles. And the moment the assault began, Ferguson understood that Sidney had been talking behind his back, that the cowgirl had betrayed him. "Since when have you been a Bulgarian, Archie?" Mildred said. "A Bulgarian?" Ferguson replied. "What are you talking about? You've read Candide, haven't you? Don't you remember the Bulgarians?" "I'm not following you." "The buggering Bulgarians. That's where the word comes from, you know. Bulgar, bugger, bugger." "And what's that supposed to mean?" "Men fucking other men up the ass." "I still don't know what you're talking about." "A little birdie told me you've been buggering other boys, or maybe other boys have been buggering you." "A little birdie?" At that point, Sidney jumped into the conversation and said, "Leave him alone, Mildred. You're drunk." "No, I'm not, Mildred," said. "I'm mildly intoxicated, and that gives me the right to tell the truth. And the truth of the matter is, my beloved Archie, the truth is that you're too young to be going down that road now. And if you don't get a grip on yourself, you'll turn into a queer before you know it, and then there'll be no turning back. There are enough queers in this family already, I'm afraid, and the last thing we need is another one." Without uttering a word, Ferguson stood up from the table and started walking out the room. "Where are you going?" Mildred asked. "Away from you," Ferguson said. "You have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't have to sit here listening to your crap." "Oh, Archie," Mildred said, "come on back. We need to talk." "No, we don't. I'm done talking with you." Ferguson stumped off, struggling to push back the tears that were gathering in his eyes, and when he came to the corridor at the front of the house, he turned left and walked down the tiled hallway until he reached the guest bedroom at the far end. In the distance he could hear Mildred and Sidney arguing behind him, but he didn't listen to what they were saying, and by the time he entered the room and shut the door, their voices were too muffled for him to make out the words. He sat down on the bed, put his hands over his face, and started to sob. "No more sharing of secrets," he said to himself. "No more unguarded confessions. No more trusting in people who didn't deserve to be trusted. If he couldn't say what he wanted to say in front of everyone in the world, he would keep his mouth shut and say it to no one." He understood now why his mother had always looked up to her older sister, and why she had always been disappointed by her. So much intelligence there, he said to himself, so much humor when she had a mind to be humorous, so much generosity when she had a mind to be generous. But Mildred could be mean, meaner than any other person on earth, and now that Ferguson had been scalded by that meanness, he wanted nothing more to do with her and would henceforth cross her off his list. No more Aunt Mildred, and no more Sidney Milbanks, who had shown such promise as a friend. But how could you be friends with someone who seemed to be your friend, but wasn't?